Good morning. I think one of the biggest problems in modern society is this pretense that we're more civilized than we actually are. Um, because everybody has this facade and everybody has this, and I'm going to fucking blame I'm going to blame the fucking Christians and psychology again. I'm going to blame the Christians and psychology again because they're the ones who created because this was the rise of the weak. This was the rise of the weak who create these social structures and systems that cause everybody to pretend that they're more civilized than they are. And their greatest weapon in creating these social structures where everybody pretends to be more civilized than they actually are is guilt and shame, and to cultivate a society where everybody is terrified about the perceptions of others. Because if you went outside their parameters or rules, like, as regards, like, sex, taking somebody's house, anything like this, like if someone was kicked out of their house and someone else took their house, or anything like this, they called it the shun him. And a gossip culture, shocking gossip culture where they would go around bitching about everybody and who's going to hell and who's not going to hell. And then they turned each other on each other. Like they cultivated this culture of how the aristocracy are going to hell, but at the same time they convinced them to embrace this life of piety, poverty, chastity, and very much with the expectation to waste this existence or this experience in expectation of another. And at the same time then what they actually did is create a slave morality where people accepted this slave morality. And it was a patriarchal society that they developed. And really who they enslaved them to a great extent was women. Because they got the women to accept this servitude this servitude, this second place in society where the man was the fucking the breadwinner and the king ding, and basically anything the man did regarding well, you know yourself, we had the Magdalene laundries and everything else. Everything the man did was covered up, and everything the man did was nearly okay. But the women became sluts and whores, and they were stigmatized, if they went outside the parameters of what was considered proper social conduct. And then this very much was the beginning of cultivating a society that very much feared the perceptions of others. And this is a terrible cage, I think the first thing we have to do is acknowledge like that we're not quite so civilized as we pretend to be. We're animals, like, and I'm an animal. And that's something like when I was looking at Dan Penna's video the other day, Dan Penna was saying, like, he was saying, don't come to Dan's videos, don't come to Dan's seminars, don't go to Dan's Quantum Leap seminars, because Dan is an animal. He'll insult you and he'll make you cry, and he's a horrible animal. And Dan said, I am a fucking animal. That's why I'm worth $50 billion fucking dollars. He said, I'm fearless. He said, when you become fearless, there's no limits. And I agree with Dan on this, there's no limits. And he said like that, and he's honest with the people, because he said from even though they're paying him $20,000 a session, he's honest with them, and he's saying, like, most of you will amount to nothing. You're just wasters. You're just snowflakes who come in here and give me 20 grand, and you think that's going to give you what you need. He said, like, but most of you, he said, you just amount to nothing. You'll amount to nothing, but there were 3% of you that will. And he said, when you go to their gatherings, the Quantum Leap performance gatherings, like, where they all have a couple of nights out together, they all meet up together. He said they have sex on the pool table, they drink till sun up, then get a shower and go to work. He said they're animals. And these are the top performers, the ones who are animals, who don't give a fuck about the opinions of sheep, who don't give a fuck for your morality, don't give a fuck for your opinions, but they'll hunt you to death. For every fucking, whatever it is that they're at or whatever they're selling, they'll hunt you down and take advantage of the fact that you're a snowflake and you melt under pressure. And that's what they do. They put you under pressure, you melt, and they will sell you whatever it is you're selling, or impose their will on you, because you melt under pressure. Snowflakes melt under pressure. Yeah. And it goes deeper than business, like, but I'd be the first to admit, I'm an animal. There was a girl here a couple of nights ago, and she was finishing her tea, and she had maybe a slice of pizza left and a few crusts, and she said, "Oh, this is for the animal." And I said, "The animal is sitting right here. And no guilt, no shame. I couldn't give two fucks. I told you straight out, I eat fucking trash." But another thing Dan said is that his brother said if my father had to hit me more than he did hit me, he said I'd be even more successful than I am now. Because Dan said by the time he got to his brother, Dan was the eldest, and by the time he got to his brother, the father was getting tired and old. So he didn't hit the brother as much as he hit Dan. But Dan said if he had to hit the brother as much as he hit him, the brother would be more successful. And this is because you take this life experience and you become resilient and hard and fearless. But this is built up through adversity, but you have to start meeting it head on. And this even starts like that, like not at the physical pain, but just even like the perceptions of others. And this is a huge thing to overcome. If you can just start overcoming the perceptions of others. But I got hard lessons in this, because I was thinking to myself, oh no, the lift business went fairly well, but it went on well until the end, and that's when the hard lessons came. So the hard lessons in every other business was when I was starting the business. The fact that humans love to see other humans fail. They fucking love this shit. They fucking love to see you fail. Because they want to do nothing themselves. They haven't got the balls. They haven't got the intelligence. They just want to pull everybody else down. This is the herd mentality. Do you ever see crabs getting out of a basin or getting out of a pot when it's boiling? The crab might crawl up the side and all the other crabs pull it back in. That's the herd mentality. That's the herd mentality. They don't want to see you break away from the herd. They don't want to see you do anything that might excel or anything like that, because they're fucking jealous. And that's the emotion, jealousy, insecurity. And a lot of them do it under the guise that they're acting in your interest, but they're not acting in your interest. They just want to keep you from breaking from the herd. Yeah, but it takes a lot to break out from this and to overcome this. But for this, you have to overcome the perceptions of others. And I never really gave a fuck what anybody think. I never really gave a fuck what anybody thought until such time as it was. As everything started to crumble down around me. And I wouldn't come home because of pride. And pride really was very much based on the perceptions of others. And I didn't realise it at the time, but pride was very much based on the perceptions of others, because I was terrified of what people were going to say and how much delight people were going to take in my fall from grace. And eventually, I was left with no choice. I had to come home, sleeping in the back of a van in Newcastle crying. Because I said to myself, this is just trying to fathom what the fuck just happened. What the fuck just happened? And I wasn't just trying to come to terms with this. Jesus, what was I going to do with my life? And this is the first time I started to experience anxiety. Was when I was 38 years of age. Just the first time I ever felt anxiety or fear. No fear up to that, and people wouldn't believe that, but there was no fear up to that because I've been sort of raised without fear, resilient and hard, but there was no fear up to that. And then the fear came when my future was gone, and the perceptions of others. And then I remember I came home and I had nothing, and I got a job in Tesco. I got a job in Tesco, and crying in the back of the van wasn't my lowest ebb. Working in Tesco was. That was my lowest ebb. Stacking shelves in Tesco. Uh, that was the low point. And I remember I went to a psychiatrist, with the anger issues, and the psychiatrist said to me, and I said, there's people, I said, who fucking just take great delight in that you fell, and that you're now working in Tesco. And she said, oh, Dave, that's paranoia. Maybe that's just paranoia. And I said, it's not fucking paranoia, actually. I said, because they fucking came in and asked me when I was going to be working in Tesco. And I said, why do you want to know that? And I said, because we want to come and see you. We want to see you working in Tesco. And that perfectly describes human nature. That perfectly describes human nature as far as I was concerned. And did it make me angry? By Jesus, it did make me angry. But really what made me angry was the perceptions of others. Like, who gives a fuck what they thought? But yeah, I needed this experience to be able to overcome this. Do you know what I'm saying? I needed this experience. And I got lots more of it, let me tell you. But you need this experience, because if you don't have this experience, and to be able to apply the right attitude to this experience, then you're never going to, if you just go to a course and think to yourself that you can, oh yeah, delude yourself that you've resolved this issue. You haven't resolved this issue until you faced it and applied the philosophy, or the relevant philosophy. But this requires an understanding of human nature, an understanding of metaphysics, and an understanding of all nature before you can actually apply this knowledge and apply this information and overcome this shit. Because that's human nature. That's human nature. And this is why I say, that the first thing you have to do is I'm looking for the animals. I'm looking for the ones who have already overcome adversity and fear and everything else, and who don't give a fuck. And then we can join together and we can start to push back and build our own hierarchical systems. But not preying on the weak. I want to pray. I want to build a matriarchy. I want to build our own hierarchical systems. I want an inversion of the hierarchies. In other words, I want to prey on the men. I want to prey on the men, and I want to prey on the men, and take their fucking money. I want to prey on the men and take their fucking money, and teach the women and inspire the women and build more and more women. So maybe a platform where we teach each other. We teach each other. A platform for women where we teach each other dancing, and fucking maybe even knitting, because there's possibly a market for knitting. Knitting's very relaxing. I used to do a bit of knitting once. It's very relaxing. Maybe even teach knitting, maybe even teach dancing, maybe teach, like, everybody play to their own strengths, you know what I mean? Like promoting technology and explaining technology, like the latest phones, the tariffs, everything like this. But there's a market for this, for information, and teach each other, sort of like a homeschooling platform. But if we do it first in a group, because it's very hard to... I'm speaking from experience. I see some people making content there, but their content is shite. But maybe in a group where we can critique. We start off in the group, you make an introduction video, and then maybe 10 people. I pick 10 people who we work with to develop their skills and develop their broadcasting and develop their presentation and develop their confidence and their resilience. And because this has to be developed, you have to work on this shit. And when we have it developed, then we get to a certain stage, that 10 then can move to a platform such as YouHive or YouTube, and we can have our own platform, we can have our own channel, which we teach shit, like, and we can put a name on this and rise together, and all rise together. But definitely there's the streaming is the way to go, but not just streaming, but an interaction between real life and streaming, not fake bullshit, but actual good useful fucking things that's good to know, such as philosophy and an understanding of life and an understanding of nature. But definitely I'm going to tell you one thing, like, I'm going to have to look at some scenario based courses like I used to do for the bouncers, scenario based courses, and one maybe course that teaches people the ability to say no, because this is a massive skill, to learn how to say no. To learn how to say no, and learn how to be assertive, and learn how to say fuck off. Fuck off. You have to learn how to tell people to fuck off. This is a very important skill. And snowflakes may learn this. You tell people to fuck off. Good morning.